Ladies and gentlemen, beautiful people, welcome to the 97 Republic YouTube channel. I react to news and live events of different sports. So I kindly ask that you hit the like button and the subscribe button, as that will really help this channel grow. And to ensure you don't skip a beat, click the notification bell as well. That way you can guarantee that you don't miss any of the action. Alright, so let's go. Ranking the top 5 knockouts of UFC Fight Night Seattle versus Seattle. Now, if you missed the event, I did a reaction video, and you can basically just click that link. It will take you to that video. My reactions and analysis based off of every fight, majority of the main card, as well as how awesome the prelims was. But when looking at it, we had, out of the 12 fights that happened at UFC Fight Night Seattle versus Seattle, 8 of them came via stoppage. But only 4 of them went the distance, and out of those 8, 6 of them was knockouts, 2 of them were submissions. So basically 6 to pick from, with regards to top 5 knockouts, having 1 miss out. And the honorable mention is Austin Vanderford versus Nikolai Veterinikov. Not the easiest surname to pronounce. And due to the fact that he misses out, even though Austin made his debut, now this guy is, I don't know whether he's the husband or boyfriend of Paige Van Zandt, but he's a good fighter. He fought Bellator, basically got his UFC contract, made his debut inside the UFC. He's a credentialed grappler, a really good grappler. All round, I would say a good fighter. Basically what happened, took Nikolai down and ground and pounded his way to victory. Where, even though he landed a lot of consecutive shots, had Nikolai's hand wrapped, and basically Nikolai was only able to defend with his left hand. Not a lot of punches landed flush, not a lot of damage, but whenever put yourself in the ref's shoes, if you see someone get punished, to be able to dictate whether those punches land flush or not, very difficult. But then anyway, the ref stepped in, and basically Austin ended up winning via TKO. And then Nikolai decided that he was going to stand up, he was going to walk to Austin and give him the old shove. To which Austin had the response of flipping in the double bird. Never seen that in my life inside of the UFC. Therefore, honorable mention, and should definitely be someone on the list. Now, at number 5, we have Mansour Abdul-Malik versus Nick Klein. Now, the spinning back fist actually happened in the first round when Nick Klein starched Mansour, and Mansour actually was very close to being finished. Faced some adversity and came back in the second round and basically got the TKO victory over Nick Klein, giving him the number 5 spot for the top knockouts of UFC Fight Night. Then at number 4, Nursultan Ruziboev getting the TKO victory over McConico. Now, these names do not get easier to pronunciate. I miss the days of it all. Chuck Liddell, Tito Ortiz, Rich Franklin, somewhat easier to pronunciate. However, Ruziboev got his victory after the previous fight where he lost to Joaquin Buckley via decision, and a good way for him to come back to the winning column, seeing that how he dominated the fight against McConico, and not even dominated the fight. Eric's corner basically asked Eric to bite down on his mouthpiece and trying to get the knockout victory. However, obviously the opposite transpired, where Ruziboev landed a straight right, and basically Eric did the silly geese, the old dead fish, the stanky leg, got up, and then Ruziboev just continued hammering his face and ended up getting the TKO victory. Ref stepped in. A good win for Nursultan Ruziboev, back to the win column and back to winning ways with a good knockout victory over Eric McConico. Then at number 3, and those names, Modestas Bukauskas winning via knockout against Rafael Cerqueira. Now, with regards to Modestas, also had a tough run at the very start of his UFC career, lost 3 in a row, basically got sacked by the UFC, went to Cage Warriors, was champion Cage Warriors, then basically got re-signed to the UFC, where he's been able to win 4 of his last 5 fights. And getting the knockout victory, a really good knockout victory against Rafael, was a good fight. And Modestas basically just showcasing that he has a ball as a fighter with a good knockout, basically sending Rafael to do the old bend knee and basically hail to the Lord, and Modestus basically getting that knockout, ranked at number 3 due to the fact that it was good. It was a good knockout to visualize and see. And then at number 2, a brutal one, Gene Silva versus Baghdasaryan. Now, going into the fight, you had the explosive power of Gene Silva and the power of Gene Silva versus the technical ability of Baghdasaryan. And it was almost like a volume versus efficiency with regards to their fighting style. And we saw Gene Silva iconically had a little bit of a scuffle with Baghdasaryan. We started seeing those slaps fly, and then basically they tapped each other, gave each other the high five, and Gene Silva hyped up the crowd to deliver a 1-2 punch. Had Baghdasaryan on the ground not knowing what is happening, Gene Silva basically just stared at the referee and then continued to pound on Baghdasaryan's corpse, and basically the ref then decided to step in, stop the fight. Extremely iconic. Gene Silva is a menace in the featherweight division. The guy is basically the reincarnation of Josh Emmett without Josh actually having to, a lot of power. Gene Silva now calling out Bryce Mitchell. Would not answer the phone if I was Bryce Mitchell. Would basically change my phone number and avoid that fight at all costs. Then at number 1 is Ricky Simone versus Javid Basharat. Now, multiple reasons why this would be number 1. Reason number 1 for it being number 1. Ricky Simone is a wrestler. It's all beat around the bush. Ricky Simone is predominantly a wrestler. Likes to have a fight with wrestling exchanges, grappling exchanges. Prefers to basically take down his opponent, dominate on the ground, and basically cruise to a unanimous decision victory. That's the road to victory most of the time for Ricky Simone. The man dyed his hair blonde and basically delivered a devastating blow to Basharat. The only knockout we saw where it looked like someone's soul left his body. Now, obviously, not for the faint of heart, but seeing Basharat on his back and his eyes looking around, could genuinely see that subconsciously was visiting Ben Askren and having a conversation with Ben Askren in the shadow sphere. And with Ricky Simone landing that 1-2, landing that straight cross as perfectly as you could wish for, it was incredible. So reason number 1, he's a wrestler. Reason number 2, knocked out clean. Didn't even need consecutive shots, even though, in the words of an icon,
Maybe
they were super necessary.
Why were they necessary?
What do you mean, why were they necessary?
the old 3-piece Minnesota gave him the main course burger with a side of nuggets. And the third reason being is we saw Ricky, as I previously mentioned, dye his hair blonde, a new mythical fighter in the bantamweight division of the UFC, and you love to see it. Love to see a wrestler get a clean knockout win over his opponent, especially with the fight and the knockout playing out on the feet. That's basically my top 5 rankings for knockouts at UFC Fight Night Cejudo versus Yadong. Let me know in the comment section, would you flip it? What do you think should be number 1? For me, it was either between Gene Silva, Baghdasaryan, and basically Ricky Simone. Or do you think something else was warranted being on the number 1 spot? Let me know in the comment section. I'll really appreciate it. Have a beautiful day.